everyone. Sorry, just Chatty is just the whole camera. Hey, buddy, you gonna be on stream today? Yeah. Oh, and it switched us. Of course it did. Hold on, everyone. Hi, how is everyone doing today? Welcome to another episode of 10 Forward Weekly. My name is Mike Fadum. I am your community manager, and I am also known as Ambassador Kel. And I am joined this week by the amazing and talented and super nice Amy Imhoff. I just realized I didn't ask you how to pronounce your name, so I hope that was right.
That or Imhoff. It's actually
both
not my
work?
last name. It's my husband's. So.
Oh, I see.
But it was easier than Meyerhofer, which is my maiden name. So.
Oh, now I want to know how that's spelled.
You will never guess because there's missing a vowel. So it's Mayr. There's no vowel between the Y and the R. So Meyerhofer, Hofer. One F in the last part too. So very confusing.
All right. Well, that's.
I was tired of yelling at. I was tired of yelling at doctors' offices, so I was like, I guess I'll change my name.
Yeah, I sort of doomed my wife to that because she had Blake before we got married. Super nice, super normal name, easy to pronounce.
Nice and easy.
And then I gave her Fadum.
It's not that bad. It's still only 5 letters.
Yeah.
Fits in the Wordle.
Oh, I got today's in 6, and I was so mad because I got the last 3 letters like on number 3, but then 2 guesses in a row were wrong. Yep, that's how it goes. So welcome to the stream, and thank you once again. I said this on Twitter, but I would like to say it in person. Thank you once again for all of the awesome stuff you did yesterday. Janeway was trending yesterday, and then eventually Star Trek Online was trending on Twitter yesterday, and I know that was in no small part thanks to you, so thank you very much for all of your help. I appreciate it.
You are very welcome. It was great. Yesterday was awesome.
Yesterday was awesome.
It was so exciting to see how people reacted to Janeway being there, and not only Janeway, but Mirror Janeway. I think, which we haven't visited the Mirror Universe in Voyager. So, and I know you visited frequently in STO, but we haven't really seen.
Yeah, the comics did it that one time.
There was a comic.
Yeah. Hey, buddy. It was
your
awesome.
Little guy there wants to be.
He wants to be on stream. And yeah, I loved your mirror teaser tweet the day before. I really wanted to retweet it. Deanna wouldn't let me because it was like, it'll give it all away. You can't. But it was very good.
But yes, well, I sent it to Kate. I said, she approves, and we work together. She writes them, I write them. We I'm better at knowing the hashtags and the interaction and stuff.
Yeah.
But she really loved doing the voice work. She didn't do the voice work that long ago. I think she was kind of the last piece you needed before you.
And she did it like a champ, from what Al tells me. Like, they had thought they were going to have her in the booth for like 5 to 6 hours, and she just worked her way through it and like took command of the room, as you would imagine she would.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. She's very fast. Well, I mean, she does She does voice work, not just for Prodigy, obviously. She's done many cartoons and video games. She reads audiobooks as well, and she's very quick with that. And she's just got a lot of practice. So I'm glad she pleasantly surprised everyone.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it was surprising that she was amazing, but we were definitely all pleasantly something. So tell us a little bit. Actually, I did promise before we do that I would do the fan art I missed from last week and this week. So let me dive into that really quick, and then I will start asking you questions about your life and your deepest secrets. So
I want to see. I love fan art.
So first of all, 47 Alpha Tango sent us this shot of Constitution class hanging out at, I don't know what map that is. Someone's going to have to tell me, but you will. I know they will. They're going to hop in chat and tell me. Secondly, Christopher B. Monday sent us, it's Constitution Day, everybody, because here's another Constitution. I really like the name USS Mount Vernon. That's a very, Constitution class kind of name. Very cool. Daniel Sailors sent us this breakdown of his Borg character with all of his bridge officers and all of the different Borgified ships that he uses. It's got a lot of Borgified ships. That's really cool.
They're very cool.
Yeah.
Is that like a Defiant mod?
I think so. Actually, I don't know. I've never it must be the Defiant, but I've never seen it with all of that Borg stuff on it before. Someone will have to let me know how that looks. Um, people in chat were talking about their Terran characters, and someone said, "I'm not a Terran. I just found this ship." All right. Duncan Idaho, who does a lot of fan art for us, sent us 3 different pieces of art for his actual play Star Trek Adventures podcast, USS Reliant. It's a really fun show. I've guested on it once before and would love to do so again. So if you're interested, Duncan, post the link in chat, and then I will say it out loud because I've forgotten what it is. But there's a whole backstory and character on all of these, and of course, Lieutenant Tardigrade appears in every single one of these images.
Lieutenant Tardigrade is very cute.
Lieutenant Tardigrade is great. He's actually an in-game pet you can get now because I insisted.
That's awesome. I have a little tardigrade. He's right here.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's the same one that we gave Mary Wiseman a couple of years ago at STLV. That's great. Only hers is
this is an STLV acquisition.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so funny because we've hung out at STLV before. But I never in any sort of professional capacity. So it's great that we're finally getting to work together like this.
Yeah, this is really nice.
Yeah.
I met all of the. I literally can't remember when I met Thomas and Nick at the same time, and I think it was in 2012, 13. I've been going since 2011, and I didn't really meet anyone that first trip because I was just with brother and a couple friends, and we kind of stuck to ourselves, and I didn't know anybody.
It's a wonderful group, but it's a little intimidating to bust into because it's like everybody's so friendly, but they all have known each other for years, and you're like, "Hi, I'm new. Please."
Everyone was very welcoming.
Yes.
I am an outgoing, and I will make friends with you in Vegas and in line for the bathroom. That's just how it is. And you're all a little bit introverted, so I adopt the introverts, and that's how that works.
I met a couple at PAX a couple years ago who who were married.
We went to PAX East.
Oh, I love PAX. But they were married, but they'd met in line at PAX a few years ago, which was just the cutest freaking thing. All right. So James Simon sent us this one. I think this might just be a ship request because he said, "Can you please make this one?" And it looks more like a screenshot from a movie than from our game, but I could be wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong, James Simon. Now, I don't know if this next person's name is Javer or Javier. It's not Javier because there's no I, so it's one of those. But anyway, this awesome photo of Mirror Admiral Quinn getting ready to bust out his minigun and lay down the law. Okay, that is from Star Trek 09. That's what I thought. All right. Jeff W. sent us this shot that he photoshopped together of his Intrepid class and a couple of Peregrine fighters hanging out. He called the Peregrine Squadron the Black Knight Squadron, which I'm like, okay, I want to read that whole novel. Mark Hawkman sent us this awesome shot of a Borgified Amory, that's the name of that ship, which is apparently like a pretty good deepser. Oh, and he also sent us this shot of a, not a Lucari, I'm not sure what ship that is, but going through a bunch of black holes, which is neat. Pirate Scum Gaming sent us this shot of a Mirror Galaxy Dreadnought. Very nice. I like the gold ship on the blue background. It's a neat color combination. Pundus, I'm very proud of you for this pun. I just want you to know. And I'm just going to wait and see if anybody in chat can tell me what this pun is before I explain it, because I love it so.
I mean, I just saw attack.
Uh-huh. Oh, apparently Black Knight Squadron is from Independence Day. That's great. I need to go and watch that movie again, obviously. Yes, there we go. Looney Welsh has gotten it. Yes, of course. This is Attack on Titan.
I get it. I get it.
Nice. All right. Commander Darjeeling sent us this shot of his not Reliant class. It's the... Oh, my brain. Amy, help me out here. It's the ship that the Reliant was.
Hmm. Ship
Uh,
that the Reliant was. I mean
yeah,
the class?
Miranda class. There we go.
In a
Yeah,
class. Okay, yes.
yeah.
Okay, the class.
We made one
Room
and
in the
named it
chat.
the Reliance.
Miranda.
Yeah, the chat's like Miranda. I'm like, I know it. It's just my brain. Anyway, Sean Mooter
Okay.
sent us this really
It's
cool
it's
shot.
January. It's
Yeah,
January
yeah.
in season 3 of the plague. Like, don't worry
We don't.
about it.
This is an awesome shot, Sean Mooter, of this one of the temporal ships. Teach me how you got all of these colors to pop the way you did, because that looks really cool. Here is Solok 42's shot of, I want to say a Sovereign class hanging out at Earth Space Dock getting repairs. Very nice. And Stu1701 sent us this shot of either an Odyssey or a Yorktown. I can't tell from this distance, but hanging out at one of my favorite maps in the whole game. So pretty.
That's cool looking.
Yeah, it's this blue star that you stop from blowing up on one of our missions, but it's also just such a pretty map to take pictures at. And Tim Parker Chambers, this is a kind of a cool backstory. He told me that when he created this character that you see standing next to Janeway here, his backstory for her was that Janeway was her mentor and had sort of brought her up. So now he actually gets to have the character run missions with Janeway, which I thought is really cool.
It's
And
awesome.
finally, Trexpert sent us this shot of the USS Fatum. I appreciate it, buddy. uh, we were mentioning before the stream how fast you are to DM people, my friend. So, Amy, tell me a little bit about your background and how you got involved with working with Kate. Is it alright if I call her
So,
Kate? Will she show up at my house and dress me down?
yes, no, she will not. It is very funny. People still like Ms. Mulgrew or
Yeah.
Captain. We went on her book tour in early 2019, and everyone was addressing her as Captain, and she was like, okay. She's like, you can just say Kate, and the guy was like, no.
I refuse. That is
I
disrespectful.
refuse. I started working with Kate in 2018 officially. I had raised the issue of her lack of social media presence and um, her need to have that. All the ladies on Orange is the New Black were very involved online. Natasha Leone in particular has a very robust following. And I said, you could really be reaching a lot of people about things you care about. She's a advocate for Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's Foundation has been something that she's been with for a very long time. Her mother suffered from Alzheimer's and passed away from complications. So she frequently will if she gets an honorarium for speaking or something like that, she'll just donate it directly to Alzheimer's. And she always encourages fans to donate. And we did a really cool day of action on Capitol Hill, which was really fun. So they encourage lawmakers to pass laws supporting caregivers and laws supporting research in particular, because breast cancer research is very well funded. Other research, with the ice bucket challenge, that's very well funded, but Alzheimer's is not as well funded. So she always wants to make sure she's championing that. So we had a couple meetings in the city. She's in New York City a lot of the time. She's not there in the plague.
And her address is
no. No, she's she's been a New Yorker for 30 years now. So when she started as Mary Ryan, they filmed in New York. She was 19 when she got that role, so she's been in New York, and she's been running around having a grand time there and loving theater and loving the restaurant scene. And I know that all has been very hard for her to have shut down when COVID happened. And we were both talking. I would talk to her on Monday on a Zoom call, and I said, "Oh, I still haven't been to Broadway," and she said, "Oh, I know." She really misses it. So, yeah. So I just told her, you could be. Not only could you be reaching people for your causes, you could also be talking about your books, and she wants to get the word out about the books. So HarperCollins is her publisher now. She's with a fantastic editor there. So Jen Brell is her editor. She's also Neil Gaiman's editor, which I think cool. She has Neil Gaiman is one of many in her very big repertoire.
That's got to be a pinch yourself every day. Like, oh, I'm just going to wake up and edit Neil Gaiman and Captain Janeway's books.
I know, right? Jen is very, very nice. She was on the cruise. So if anyone was on the cruise, she did a little Q&A with Kate, and they talked about the process. But Kate really wanted to bring me on to promote that and to go on book tour with her. And had a great release in May 2019 of her second book, which is called How to Forget. I have
Nice.
many copies of it in
What
my
kind of
garage.
what kind of books does she write? Is it like
She has two memoirs.
oh, okay, it's their memoirs. Cool.
Yeah, and so now she's actually working on a fiction book as her third book.
Ooh.
So she hasn't really written about the Captain Janeway years in detail. She does mention them in How to Forget when she's searching for her daughter that she had put up for adoption when she was very young.
Okay. Wow.
Or not her in Born with Teeth. I'm sorry. And
What a life she's had.
I know, right? Well, it was interesting because I'm adopted also. And I was adopted through the Catholic Social Agency, and that is the organization where she put Danielle up for adoption through. And we talked a little bit about that. And I think that was definitely like a little bit of a bonding topic for us, you know, having our circumstances are very different with our biological relatives, but it was still something I think that was, you know, she saw that I had that in my background as well, and that I would be sensitive to that topic.
That's really cool. So
Yeah.
what's like a day to day then? In like you work with Kate together on social media and stuff, but I imagine that she's not, always available to text in the middle of the night and be like, "Can I tweet about this?" So
Well,
what's like?
we don't usually tweet in the middle of the
Yeah,
night.
it's
Well, I
true.
mean, she doesn't anyway. um,
What? Yeah, what's a usual day
so
like?
so it's not a full time. I have Amy Imhoff digital management, so I have other clients. I've had a number of different clients since I branched off on my own, also in 2018.
Nice.
Um, so I work with like right now I'm working with Nielsen IQ. They're a division of the Nielsen company. I'm their content manager.
Oh
I've
yeah.
worked with financial events. They all had to go digital after the pandemic, so they were doing all these different fireside chats and Zoom calls. So I would help them with their social. I've worked with professors. I've worked with lots of different little businesses that are here in Connecticut and Fairfield County. I've had a couple West Coast clients as well. That finance client was West Coast, so I'm used to working in multiple time zones.
Nice.
But it's for a typical I think week with Kate would be, if we have to address any outstanding, like she does giveaways and like through the RFK Foundation. That's one of her. She's on the board for RFK. She's on the board for the Vineyard Theater, and we make sure that when someone wins a Zoom or a in-person lunch, we organize that. I make sure that, like, we did a signing recently with GalaxyCon where she had autographed books available for purchase, and we're hoping to do something similar with that again in the future.
Very cool. So you
And
also like
it's
book
just a
conventions for her and stuff, and things like
I
that.
don't book them thank God I don't book them for her anymore. It's like such an involved process.
Uh,
I did do it for a little while, but it was more of I'm very well versed in the Star Trek space, and I can kind of lend that expertise to what I do for her, and that includes like, oh, I've really heard that I've heard that this convention is really great. I've heard wonderful things about it, and not just we don't just want her to do like the typical same convention every year.
yeah.
She was doing Vegas every year.
Yep.
She'll be there again this year. And Vegas is, creation entertainment obviously has its many issues, but I mean, I love,
That was such a
I
diplomatic way of saying that. You can tell you're a professional.
oh, thank you. But they have many issues, and I have had issues with management there with them, and that's not a surprise. I've struggled a long time getting women on the main stage. For the 20th, the 50th anniversary of all of Star Trek in 2016 was the first time I did a panel with Kate. We did the Women of Star Trek panel on the main stage, and that panel had been going for almost 10 years at that point,
And had never
and
been main
never had been
stage.
on the main
That's crazy.
never been main stage. We weren't even Women of Star Trek. We were Mary Serwinski was the one who had run it for a long time, so we were Mary and her Trek girls.
Oh my
We did
god.
not allowed to say the word feminist in our description.
Oh my god.
So But it's okay. The women's panel lives on, and Women at Warp have done a great job. They've done it in the years when I wasn't there. I did it in the last time I did that panel was 2019 when before everything went crazy. I did not go last year. I had been ill over the summer. I did not have COVID, but I just did not think it was a great idea to expose myself to more
Yeah.
germs.
I had this.
So
I had the exact same thought, and I'm just glad that Mission Chicago is happening. Hopefully, fingers
I am
crossed.
very excited for Mission Chicago, and that's you asked if I do the convention booking. Reed Pop is awesome.
Yes.
Reed Pop is actually based in Norwalk, Connecticut, which is one town north from where
Yeah,
I
but
lived for 13 years, and
before I got this job, I
um,
interviewed with them a few times. They're really cool.
I also interviewed with them a long time
We
ago now.
probably interviewed for the same jobs.
Probably.
Oh,
But what happened with Reed Pop is they had jobs that were like a little bit too junior and a little bit too senior, and I was
yeah.
more mid level at that point. But I've seen how I know they've had some snafus with how they've worked on the Star Wars Celebration, but overall, I think it's been very organized. And they
Yeah.
also they know how to put on a big show.
Yes.
Like like we
STLV is a
walked.
wonderful, intimate feeling, but it's definitely always I remember walking into the vendor hall one year, my first year, and going, "Oh, is that it?"
Is that
And
it? Yeah,
not to knock on anything
it's
there. It's just
small.
surprising because it's the official Star
It's
Trek
I mean you
convention.
can lap the vendor room in like an hour,
Yeah,
if at the very and then that's if you're slow
yeah.
and you're
That's if
like
you're looking at
checking
every
stuff out.
starship on Eagle Moss spoof.
So I just want to make sure that we are trying to get to as many markets with Kate as possible. Like she hasn't been to Canada in a while, so hopefully we'll get to go to one of those
Nice.
eventually. We were in London, despite the many cancellations and concerns that people had about the London convention. Kate was already in London filming The Man Who Fell to Earth,
Oh, nice.
so she was able to thankfully keep her appearance there, and it didn't feel she did not feel any more unsafe than she did in the rest of London for the last 5 months. But they did thankfully finally, they had the divider during the picture, and we had the screen up when she was doing signing, and I know that can be rough on some of the fans, who want to come in and they want to talk to her and they don't want to
Yeah.
have all the masks and the other thing. But I just had to keep saying we need to keep the captain healthy. She's
Yep.
66 now. We don't want anybody to get sick, and she did get COVID, so
Oh God, really? I'm glad she's
yeah, so
okay.
I'm allowed to say that now. But yeah, she did get COVID, so not from that convention. She got it earlier in 2021.
Oh
So,
my God.
but we did not want to.
I am so glad
We
she's
did not.
okay.
We did not want to have her get it again. Nobody
Yeah.
wants it more than once.
No. Yeah, that whole thing has been so interesting to see because I've been seeing a lot of pictures of celebrity meet and greets and photo shoots and things where, like you said, it's just a big plexiglass wall, and you'd
I have to
think.
say, one of the volunteers at the London convention, they had the idea to put the black Velcro tape along the front of the divider, so it literally melted right into the black
Oh, that's
background. It was
awesome. That's
great.
super smart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but
anybody who does another one, if they do a black background and they take some electrician's tape and they just run it up the front of the divider, I think it'll be you
vanishes.
can't tell.
That's great. That's really cool. It's a
Yeah.
really good idea. But yeah, I was just gonna say, you'd think that more people would be like, "Yo, this sucks. I didn't get to touch them," but in actuality, everybody's just so excited to get the chance to meet, Janeway or Anakin Skywalker or whoever it is that it's still a really really good memory. It's just happens to have a plexiglass plate in the middle.
Yeah, and I mean the auditorium was packed for her, all three of her discussions,
Yeah.
and I think we still were able to do a really give fans a really good experience that was worth their money while still abiding by these rules. We also appeared at New York Comic Con for on Saturday, and then Sunday was the Prodigy release day, which
Yeah.
was really great that she got to finally have a live audience to cheer about Prodigy, because when Patrick Stewart came back for Picard,
Oh yeah.
in Vegas, he had the screaming crowd, he had all that that enthusiasm from the audience. And she didn't get to see any of that when they announced that Janeway was coming back because of COVID.
Yeah.
And because Voyager's 25th anniversary year was 2020, we
Yep.
got the cruise, and that was it.
Yep. The cruise was the right up to the line, like, this is the last thing anybody could do. Shut it down.
Well,
shut it
we
all
got
down.
on that boat, and it was like, oh, there's a virus, we'll be fine. And we get off the boat, and the world was completely different. It was bizarre. We all say we like went through a portal.
You went into an alternate reality just on the boat. Yeah.
We did, like, this is the bad timeline. We came out the wrong side.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. I'm actually curious. You're talking about panels, and you've been on panels with her, so I'm curious about this because you'll probably know. And as a panel moderator, I'm always curious about this kind of thing. But like, I've noticed that at the Star Trek conventions, obviously, like the people who've been doing them for like 27, 30, whatever years, are like they've got a thing down now. Like like if you see Michael Dorn and my brain is not a good brain today. Deanna Troy's actress name's completely escapes me.
Yes, Marina Sirtis.
Marina Sirtis, thank you. If you see them do a panel together, like it's this whole vaudeville shtick they do, but like
the TNG cast are they're beyond.
But like it's funny because I've watched it a couple of times now of the Star Trek actors like basically having to answer the same questions they answered last year and the year before that and the year before that, and I always wonder how like you keep that entertaining for the panelists and like they're not losing their mind when you're the person setting up the panel and like make a one-on-one with Catherine Janeway more interesting, or at least interesting enough that somebody will want to come back after they saw it the last 15 times in a row.
Yeah. So I've hosted or been part of over 75 panels at this point. I've been doing them since 2015. I think 2015 was my first panel that I did.
That's a lot of panels to do in 5 years. Wow.
Yeah, more like 7 years. Or no, maybe it was before that.
Am I bad at math? I might be bad at math.
13 or 14.
Yeah, I'm not doubting you. I'm just saying
it was either 2013 or 2014. It was a Women of Trek panel in the little auditorium. That was my first one. But I've since branched out and I've done a lot. One of my favorites that I did in 2019 was Michael Dorn and LeVar Burton on the main stage.
Nice.
In Vegas. LeVar brought his visor. He didn't tell him. We're standing backstage waiting to go on, and he had his little small briefcase. And I was like, "Oh, what's that?" And he goes, "That's my visor." And I was like, "Oh." And he was like, "I will warn you before I bust it out." And I was like, "Okay." That was a great moment. But Kate is just, so what I try to do is I kick it off and I say, I'm going to ask her a couple questions. I will ask something that I know the audience is going to ask, which is like right now it's like, are you going to be on Picard? The answer is no one has approached me. I am, they're telling that story, and it's not a story that the Janeway's involved in. And then another question she gets
Someone
a
asked
lot.
that in chat, so great job.
Did they?
Yeah. I saw it go by earlier, and I was like, I'm not going to ask that because obviously the answer is no.
If they're filming season 3 right now, the answer is no.
Yeah.
So, but she's also on her own series. Like, we couldn't tell people about Prodigy until I think the big release was last October. So, 2 Octobers ago. And I had kept it a secret at that point for 2 years that Janeway was coming back, and they just kept delaying it. They wanted to do this big red carpet thing. Nickelodeon wanted to, everything, of course, is contingent on what we can do now versus what things used to look like. So I think Kate is really great about taking questions from the audience, and even if they're questions that are like a little rude or a little probing, I usually say, please keep in mind that we are not going to ask anything that is unbecoming of a Starfleet officer. Like, that usually will deter.
That's a really good line. I've heard you do that before.
Yeah. So I try to say that. There have been times where I have wanted to say that is not becoming of a Starfleet officer when someone has asked a question. But I mean, he handles it. Like, I'm very much secondary. I know that they're not there to see me. They're there to see her. That's the same with any actor I'm on stage with. The audience is there to hear them tell their stories and, hear their reactions. I just try to ask questions that will get them engaged. I asked a question about travel to LeVar and Michael Dorn. Asked about their favorite places to visit. everybody's taken a great trip, hopefully, in
Yeah,
your
that's a good
life.
one.
So you've been able to talk about that. And I asked, of course, because it's LeVar, I asked what book he'd been reading lately, or what was a great book he could recommend for like summer reading for all of
Oh, there
us,
you go.
something like that.
Yeah.
And Kate is an avid reader, so if you ask her about her authors or her influences or who she's reading right now, I mean, there's a lot of questions in there that you could ask just about her literary favorites.
Very cool.
So somebody wrote this year, freaking hubris in the chat. I am very glad that they did not make Janeway into the admiral that yelled at Picard. Like, I
Oh
think that
God,
was
that
a
would have
big
been
move.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do
Then
that.
people would have then they would have just demonized her, and they would have said, "Oh, we're
Yeah.
all," because she still gets, you still see it, or I still hear it. You get
Oh
guys who
God.
don't want to have a woman in the captain seat. It's like we're
It's
so beyond that right
I
now.
was I was gonna ask this question jokingly, and I'm still asking it jokingly. You do not have to answer it, but what's your least favorite word in Star Trek, and why is it Tuvix?
Oh God, it is my least favorite word.
I like it drives me nuts. I'll be on like
It's
even like
really funny. People,
go ahead.
it, I said it's funny because people want to talk about whether or not what Janeway did was right, and I was like, he was two people, and
Yeah.
then he became one people. I was like, I think the two individual people kind of trump not that to use that
Yeah.
terrible word, kind of, the two individual people that were part of her crew were very important versus the one person that came out of an accident. So
The needs of the
and Kate,
many, or at least the needs of the
the
two.
needs of the yes, and
Yeah.
it's so funny because they all remember working with that actor who played Tuvix, and Kate will say she has said this on stage multiple times, and she said, "Oh yes, I remember working with that actor. He had lots of things he needed and wanted." Like, so, I think they were glad they were. I think going back to just Tuvok and Neelix was just fine with her.
Yeah.
So
Well, and it's funny. It's something that I always bring up whenever this discussion comes up over and over and over and I'm sorry. But like there's so many other things that other Starfleet captains have done, like Cisco poisoned a planet, and like you never hear about that kind of stuff coming from them. You only hear it about Janeway. I wonder why, internet.
mystery. We may never know, Mike. We may
We
never
may
know.
never know. uh,
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, she's great on stage. And the very first time I saw her at a convention, I was in college, and she loves the room, and the room loves her back. And that's the way to be, I
yeah,
think.
yeah. One of the my
And
favorite. Go ahead. Sorry.
I said I think most people are intimidated enough by the presence of the captain to like be respectful and to ask respectful questions.
Yeah.
So I think on the whole we get mostly very respectful questions.
Yeah.
I have not seen her get some of the more disrespectful questions that I've seen Serena Sirtis get, or especially Terry Farrell get,
Oh
or
God. Oh.
just the women who are known for their beauty.
Mm-hmm.
They're all beautiful, but
Yes.
Dax, Terry used to be a
Anybody who
model, and I think
thinks.
she is highly sexualized by the
Yeah.
fandom, whereas
Yes.
Janeway is not as sexualized by the fandom.
Yeah. Yeah. But I was gonna say anybody who
Oh, and
doesn't think Kate Mulgrew is
Jerry.
beautiful. Yeah. Oh God.
Oh, I know,
Oh
right?
God. Oh Lord.
Yeah, Jerry has many tales, and I mean they've all dealt with it, and it's
Yeah.
nice that we're in a climate now where we can talk about the fact, like, Kates can say, I've had stalkers. It's not okay.
Yeah.
Nana has talked about the trauma that she's endured and has said, this is my experience. And as someone who works with the women of Trek pretty often, I feel this like very protective sense. Like if we're walking down a hallway, it usually has some kind of security with her.
Yeah.
And I want to shout out the gentleman who was her security in London. I know he's definitely not watching, but if you saw Kate if you saw Kate walking around London with her security guy, he was top notch. He was like, he almost scared me a little. I think he was like Liam Neeson with like a very specific set of skills.
They put him with the admiral because they knew if anything went down.
So great, so great.
Yeah.
It's so nice to have the staff at convention is usually very, very. I've not ever had really a problem.
Yeah. And you
the volunteers are great.
Thinking about it, like, because your job part of your job anyway is Twitter. Like you're sort of as I am with the devs sometimes, a barrier between Kate and the worst parts of the internet. That's a very very difficult job to do and to keep your sanity. What's your mental health tricks for dealing with Twitter?
I really appreciate you saying that, actually, Mike. Thank you.
Of
You know,
course.
it is, on the whole, the fandom is very respectful of her. The times that we do get disrespectful people are when she posts political
Yeah.
opinions. And Kate is she is a Democrat. She's voting Democrat. She is not voting Republican. She is not voting for Trump. Like it's just, you know, she Stacey Abrams is she's going to be very involved, I think, with Stacey Abrams and trying to
Nice.
get people to donate for her governor's race this year. Now that we're in January, I'm sure we're going to be we're going to do something, some sort of Zoom slash interview slash stay tuned to try to figure out what we're going to do
Nice.
to support Stacey. We did the trek against the trek for Biden. That
Yep,
was
that
a
was really
start
cool.
the trek the vote
That
for
was really
Biden.
cool.
That
Yeah.
was awesome, and I was so excited to just be on those emails. Like it was like everybody. It was great. And it was so, like, Jonathan Del Arco was a surrogate for the Biden campaign, and he really brought everybody into it, and he really brought the Star Trek fandom, you know, to donate and to tweet and to support it. And I think they did an amazing job. So I love being part of that. I love being part of did when the George Floyd murder and the Black Lives Matter movement was you know, its moment in June. We did a night of reflection and discussion with the women from Orange is the New Black, and
Oh, that's
that
awesome.
cast is, of course, very multiracial. So that, you know, you see some of that negativity when she does events like that. But on the whole, you know, I don't address it. I'm not going to tell her about it.
Yeah.
She's not going to, you know, if she does see it, I mean, you know, she does Google, like she does know.
Yeah.
So she looks at, like, you know, I will pull it up, or I'll show her it. I'll say, like, this is what's happening lately. These are the interactions we had. This is what did very well, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think that, like I said, on the whole, everyone is very excited that she's online, that she's, you know, got this connection, you know, through me and through my work that I do straight for her. It just goes straight to her. Like, I don't do anything without her say so.
Yeah. Well, it's really cool too because, like you said, you know, she didn't really have anything running before you got there, and social media can be very, very overwhelming to try and like get in and engage with people. We've all seen how some Star Trek actors aren't necessarily dealing with it the best, and so I'm really glad she has that. You know, she
Yeah.
has you there to like help her with the process and like point her in the right direction and help her
Yeah.
get her thoughts and opinions out there in the world because that's really what you're doing, right? Like the idea that you're like writing her tweets, it's more like you're taking her words and putting them into
She will
Twitter.
write them word for word. I
Yeah.
will just copy them, and, you know, I'll add a hashtag, or I'll add, you know, I'll add I'll call, you know, I'll call out Star Trek, or I'll, you know,
Yeah.
hashtag Prodigy. And, you know, it's important to me that what she's saying is in her voice, and it's in exactly how she wants it to be. You know, I occasionally do a little editing on it just to make it sometimes like a little bit more peppy, or, like, you know, something like that, but it's very infrequent. She's very good. I mean, she's a writer. She has 2 books. I don't need to rewrite her words. That would
Yeah.
be rude.
Yeah. Exactly.
So,
That's not your job. Very
no,
cool.
and I also really enjoy I share stuff with her, you know, on a daily to weekly basis. Someone sends me a picture of their adorable child watching Prodigy and wanting to know more about Janeway. I said there was a little fan. I don't remember the person's handle, but it was a little adorable child in his Spider-Man socks sitting on the couch watching Prodigy, saying how she
Oh.
loves hologram Janeway. And I was like, this is exactly what, you know, she wanted to bring about in the fandom.
I can't wait to
You
introduce
know,
my daughter to it in a couple of years. She's still a little bit too young for, you know, anything that has like explosions or phaser fire.
yeah.
She gets a little freaked out, but it's
It's
such a
very
good show.
beautiful, though. I think, like,
It
even
is.
little kids, you know, the colors and the characters are so different looking from anything else. And I mean, everyone loves Murph.
Yes, Murph is the
They're like a
best.
little more. I can't wait for Murph, and I can't wait for all of the. I mean, I know they're merchandising. I know they're working on it.
Yeah.
So I am excited for what we're going to get. And I approve all of her likenesses. I'm very proud of our new friend, Exo 6 Janeway.
It's you were showing me this beforehand. Show them the phaser because the phaser is so cool.
The phaser rifle.
Oh yeah, no
Yeah, let me
the magnet on the
Oh,
yeah, the little guy.
so this is very cool. There's a magnet inside of her. The phaser fell on the floor, but the holster's still here. So there's a magnet. Can you see it? It's in the phaser holster, and there's a magnet in her uniform. So you just press it to her uniform, and it stays.
That's so cool. Like, it's
This
such an
the
obvious
same,
thing,
the
but
same,
it's so cool.
the same with the tricorder. See, the tricorder just you can put it on either hip, and
Yeah.
I think that's great. Like, I mean, I only have my Janeway collection and my Scully and my Brienne behind me, but when I was a kid, we only had the one Janeway figure. I only had the Voyager Playmates one, and the articulation on action figures now is just incredible. I'm really excited to see the Voyager cast, and some of the actors. Even like, I would love to see more DS9 merchandise. I would like to see all of that, but it's great. But like, look at this phaser rifle.
I know.
It came in the mail, and I was like, oh, look at the phaser.
I'm just gonna make pew pew noises with this tiny plastic gun.
I know. You feel like a little kid again, and that's
Yeah.
exactly what the toy should do.
Yeah.
That's exactly how it should. That's exactly how it should make you feel. And I'm not someone who collects like crazy amount. Like, I will collect like
I'm just gonna lean
a bunch
in
of green
and
ones.
look at the wall behind you and dispute that statement a tiny bit.
This is it though. It's not in the rest of the house. It's not like, I have some Funkos. I have some, I have like a couple Briennes on the shelf up there, but the women that I like, they don't have that much merchandise.
Yeah.
There's not that many Janeways, unless like there's no Janeway Funko. So my brother and his
There's
boyfriend
not
got me
a
for Christmas.
Janeway Funko?
No, there's not a Dr. Crusher Funko. Like, there's the whole senior staff of Next Generation, no Crusher, and there's like a generic Borg and a generic Klingon. They only made one woman. They only made Troy.
Are you what? That's insane.
Yeah. I will regularly tweet Funko and say, still no Dr. Crusher.
That's great because like they've made Funkos of everything. Why wouldn't you? All right. Anyway, Funko, get on that.
I have talked to it's the the merchandising team at CBS always says we'd love to see this. They have like a list of characters, and then Funko will say, here are the ones we're going to make based on what we consider to be popular.
Oh my god.
So, I mean, I would love to see Ax and Kira to have more than one action figure. Like, if you're a fan of Kira, you've got like one figure. Like, at least Janeway has a Hallmark ornament, and the Voyager has a Hallmark ornament. You can plug it in and make it light up. So
oh, good. Chad is getting up in arms. Yes, go and campaign to Funko. Get us a Janeway Funko.
No. Yes. I mean, I am pro tweeting at Funko until they make a Janeway, but they only need to look at Exo 6. It sold out in its first run, and then it sold out again, and that was a $200 figure.
Yeah. Give me a $12 Funko Pop.
I think we will give you $9 for Janeway.
Yeah, exactly.
I think we will. And I also there's the Hallmark team also did the itty bitties, which I really.
Oh yeah, those are great.
Kate liked them too. Yeah, she really liked that one.
I loved the like Chibi Enterprise with like Picard and Worf sticking out the top they made for STLD one year. That was really cute.
So yeah, that's Kevin Dillmore. He is in charge of that at Hallmark. He's also a Star Trek author, and he and Dayton Ward are besties, and Dayton's a consultant on the series. So
that's
Dayton's
really cool.
a very cool guy. I go to Shore Leave every year. Shore Leave is a convention in Maryland that is very small, but it's one of the longest running. We did a Shore Leave 41 and then Shore Leave 41.5 because they want to have 42, which is life, the universe, and
Oh
everything.
yeah.
They want to have 42 in person. So this
Yeah.
year we're going to have Shore Leave in person. I am one of the main stage hosts there. I am the
Nice.
first woman to host. I am the first woman to officially be a main stage host in like 42 years.
Oh my god.
So I'm very excited about that. This will be my third time hosting on the main stage, but I do a ton of panels throughout the weekend. And if you're near Maryland, you should come because guess what? They're going to require vaccination. They're going to require, proof of that or a negative test. And I think it's going to be a great time. We're finally going to get to see each other because it has been 3 years.
Yeah, that is super cool.
And I think Gates is coming this year. That would be great.
Nice.
Gates McFadden. It had Brent or Farpoint, but they might push him a year.
Yeah.
They've got a good lineup so far.
That's really awesome. I love the whole world of conventions. Yeah, it's great, and I'm glad that it's starting to slowly, safely come back. Slowly and safely being the key words here.
Yes, and I hope that I'm sure that Reed Pop will have some kind of. I mean, they made New York Comic Con completely. There was no excuses. You had to be vaccinated, and I went to that convention and I wore a mask and I was around many people and I did not get sick. So good job, Reed.
Yeah, I was really happy to see that coming out, like that not turning into a super spreader event when it happened, because that was kind of one of my
so glad.
for going to Mission Chicago and then later in the year Star Wars Celebration as well. I was like, okay, Reed Pop can do this and it doesn't turn into like Plague Central, then.
I mean, if you can meet at the Javits in New York City, which is like the most populous city, it worked. It worked, and I was very happy about it.
Yeah.
And the fact that Kate and the kids that were there for Prodigy, like they didn't get sick, so that's very important. We want to protect people who are making the things that we love. Like, we don't want to jeopardize their health. And I mean, I'm in her autograph line. I'm always managing her line, and I'm like, please put your mask on, please. You sound like a broken record.
It sucks that you have to say it, but yeah. I'm glad you're there saying it.
It's how it is.
Yeah. Cool. So,
but yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff happening right now.
Yeah. So, what kind of you mentioned Shore Leave, and you mentioned that you guys will be at Mission Chicago. What other kind of cool stuff have you got coming up on your plate with Kate? That kind of rhyme.
Right now, let's see. Well, I mean, and also Vegas, she'll be there.
Oh, right.
I think we're working on a couple different contracts for this year and also for 2023. I think a lot of events are cautiously celebrating for this year, but more robustly celebrating for next year.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be, and we also we don't want to. Kate's schedule is very intense. She'll say to me, I am taking all of July off. I am going to write my book. I am going to start this thing finally. Don't bother me. I don't want to do anything. No Zooms. And I'm like, okay, I won't bother you. And then a week later, she'll be like, I'm going to London to film The Man Who Fell to Earth. Bye. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, all right. I'll talk to you soon, I guess.
Yeah. So, I mean, she'll say like, this is my schedule. It is set. It's never set. The answer is it is never set. One thing we're going to be hopefully partnering and working with someone for some art prints soon. I don't want to like spoil it and like take their thunder, so I'll just say we're going to do some art prints soon. And hopefully you'll be able to have that in time for Chicago to bring them if you want to have them signed in person.
That would be cool.
We're gonna hope. Yep. We're gonna put up a bunch, I think, of her books for sale just on her website, but we're bringing the books to Mission Chicago. We want to have a book signing and talk about book like we got to do a little bit of on the cruise. They did not give her a dedicated book only signing. So I think that works that's a lot easier for people who are organizing. Yeah. Say this signing is just the book.
Yeah.
Your Janeway stuff signed later.
Well, and it seems like that would be better anyway, so that it's like, you get more time with Kate signing. Like, that's just nice.
Yes, and I think it's really great because when I have the ability, when she's in a calm, that was another thing when we were in Star Trek Las Vegas in 2019. When she signed, she was up front in the big auditorium. The lights were off. The Picard cast was on stage. Everyone was screaming, so she couldn't really talk or see to any of the people.
I always thought that was so weird. They put the autographs in that room.
Yeah, or if you're gonna do it, put the actor against the back wall, and then snake the line toward the back wall rather
Yeah,
than put the actor right underneath. The Rio is not where we're gonna be anyway, so I hope that it's
different,
we're
better.
gonna be in Bally's this year, which I have never been to. The only time I have ever been to Vegas, and I have this will be my 10th Vegas. I have only ever gone for the convention. I've only ever gone in August when it's disgusting.
So hot.
And I've stayed at the Rio. I stayed at Treasure Island for a night, and then my husband and I stayed at the Mirage when he finished taking bar because he's an attorney. And
Oh, nice.
you take the
Yeah,
bar, and
I
it's just
I used to do Vegas getaways a lot. It's changed a lot. It's not as fun as it used to be, but I mean that's because it's gone more towards what Vegas, I guess, should be known for. Because I don't like gambling or drinking, so you know.
I don't gamble. I'm not a heavy drinker. I never have been. I don't like to throw up.
Yeah, so there you go.
So
Yeah, but yeah,
that's how that is.
it was always interesting coming down for STLV and being like, all right, for this week I will not be leaving this hotel. This is where I live
And
now.
the food options at the Rio were kind of limited. So I
Yeah,
think people will be excited that we'll at least be on the strip.
yeah,
So we'll be able to. I mean, the food in Vegas is, I think, one of the reasons to go is because there's
absolutely.
so many amazing restaurants. And I like the shopping, but hey,
Yeah.
not everybody's like super pumped to like go to the Louboutin store, but I am. So
Oh, the
maybe this year I'll finally buy a pair.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's really cool. We're coming up on about an hour now, and I don't want to take up your entire night. So,
I'm
uh,
fine, but I want to say thank you for
yeah,
having me and
and
also
thank
for
you,
having Kate in the game
of
and making
course.
her storyline so amazing that it's double the Janeway.
Yeah, and thank you so much for coming. I'm
So
I'm really glad we did that too because the original story draft I saw was just Mirror Janeway, and I was like, Al, 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 we're doing Prime Janeway, right? Al.
uh,
Yeah, but
I think
thank
she
you.
looks great. I think the likeness looks great because I
Yeah,
approve her likenesses, and I usually say like the jaw isn't like right, or the chin's not right, or sometimes they get her nose kind of wide, or like her eyes are like too small, and I'm like, no, this was very, you guys, like your team clearly studied like her image, and they studied how she looks now and not
yep.
just how she looked when she was on Voyager. So I think it was like a really good marriage of the aesthetics and the attention to detail.
Yeah, uh the process of getting those likenesses right, like such props to the character artist because it's like it really comes down to like I've seen them do this before where like they put every piece and it looks exactly the right shape and then you just stare at it and go, that's not their face, that's wrong. What do I have to do to fix this? Like, it's so funny.
I think some actors have like it's an easier time to capture their likeness. Just with the characters that I like, I've noticed that like artists have a hard time capturing like Gwendolyn Christie for
Yeah,
Brienne, but they seem to have a much easier time capturing Gillian Anderson for Scully.
yeah.
And that's not to say that I don't have figures that don't look like Gillian and don't look like Gwendolyn, but
Especially action figures
so
back in
I
the day.
think well, I mean, I think what people need to think about is like, what is the process for this being made? How many people looked at it? Did the actor actually get to look at it? Sometimes, most of the time, they don't because their team looks at it, or someone glances at an email and says, "Okay, it's good."
Yeah,
Everybody's very busy, and I think when people get like irritated about certain things about figures, it's like, well, the chain of people that were these are not fans.
yeah.
Okay? These are not people who are like playing STO or like watching Star Trek. I mean, so many people told me that they've watched Voyager during COVID and like it's their comfort show for they're lost and isolated, we're
Yeah.
lost and isolated.
My roommate
But
in
the
college would
people who
watch it
are
to fall asleep, so I have many episodes of Voyager that I know the dialogue by heart and not have not
oh
actually
yeah,
seen.
but for for like the companies that are making these are not necessarily filled with Uber fans. So I
Yeah,
think that's the team at CBS and the licensing people, Marion in the licensing department, John Van Sitters, who was licensing and now he's VP.
yeah.
Good job, John.
Good for him.
They care.
Yeah,
They really care, and they're trying. Sometimes it's just production, or it's face sculpt, or they have a different face from a different woman and they just want to reuse it.
yep.
You like the I feel like it's the Balana figure looks very similar to another Playmates figure, and they probably use the same face cast.
Yeah. Cheaper
It's
to use
like
the
it's
same
all
mold, so we'll just put ridges on
cheaper.
her and no one will
Yeah,
know.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what they did.
Oh.
Or like it was like her and maybe Kaylor who were kind of similar. Like, oh, it's a Klingon and another Klingon. But I think that's what people just have to remember is when you have a problem with something, directing your anger at someone who is running the social media
Oh
account for
god,
like
yeah.
Star Trek for is not they don't have control.
It's not. It's like
So
yelling at a retail worker at Target. Like, it doesn't accomplish anything. It doesn't
it's
make
not
you
gonna,
feel
yeah.
better. It doesn't get anything done. Like, don't be that person.
But I'm looking. I'm still sad for the cast of Voyager that we did not get to properly cheer for their 25th. So hopefully when the 30th comes, we're gonna party.
Yeah, I hope so too. It's yeah, and that's always kind of nice that the 25th and 30th anniversaries are right next to each other. It's like you get two chances to party.
I mean, this will be the 27th this year. So we got a couple. We got 3 more years, but in 3 years there'll be more Prodigy. There'll be more of everything. We'll have scenes. I'm very much looking forward to Strange New Worlds. I
Yeah,
think that'll be great. Anson and Ethan I was on stage with them in 2019, and it was basically like Ethan's first couple conventions he'd ever done because he's such a little babe in the woods. And they were really, really nice, and they were just floored by like the reception of how great everybody had been, and just how excited everyone was to see them. And it was so nice. It's so nice to see the people who are new to the show have that good experience at conventions, so that they want to come back and they want to keep going and they want to keep interacting, because we all know that there's people who will not make it the greatest experience, but overall Star Trek fans are
amazing.
making it a good
Yeah,
experience.
they're really, really amazing.
They really are.
I see a couple people in the chat asking this. No, I wasn't going to answer any questions about the game today because I have Amy, and that would be super boring if she's sitting here listening to me go,
I watched.
no, we're not making that ship tomorrow.
Thomas is not making your ship, okay? Leave him alone. He has enough work to do. He already works too much.
Yeah, no
He
kidding.
needs to have time out to text me about nonsense.
All right.
I know.
Well,
I'm always like, Thomas, what are these people? They're yelling at you on your social media. And he's like, I know. They want all the different ships.
he's only one man.
Yes.
Uh,
But actually, I recently hung up. I printed a big version of his calendar from the ships of the line. And
I saw
hung it
that.
downstairs with our other ships.
I saw that on social media.
So
That's really cool.
I just think it's super cool that my friends are making stuff
Yeah.
for Star Trek, and that we're all working in some capacity for it, and we're trying to bring our love and our professional experience like to the franchise.
It's neat that so many people who work on this franchise deeply, deeply care about the franchise. Like, that's just really, really nice, and you can see that in what everybody does. No, Thomas isn't making a whale probe. Sorry, I was answering chat.
Oh yes, well, I did not know about the whale probe joke until I started watching him stream he was doing some updates to one of the ships, and then he was like, "Oh, everybody wants the whale probe," and I was like, "That's hilarious."
Yeah, it's one of those things where we're like, do they actually want that, or is that a meme?
I mean, I think it's funny, but
yeah.
But anyway, I think you guys are doing an awesome job, and
Thank you.
I'm not an active player, but I after seeing the story playthrough, I watched Klingon Pop Warrior was her name on Twitch.
Yeah, she's amazing. She helped us translate the Mary Chifo music video that we did earlier.
Yes. I love Mary. She's great.
She's so great.
She's another example. Everybody's so excited to be part of Star Trek, and she's very excited.
Yeah.
Be part of it. And so what was I? Oh yes, I watched her play, and I saw her play through the last like 40 minutes of the story, like 40 minutes. And it was really, really awesome and really well done. And when it was over, I was like, that's it?
For now.
I know, for now.
Yeah.
But I'm excited.
Cool.
So, but yeah.
Well, Amy, thank you so. I almost called you Kate. Amy, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, I'll take it. Like, all right.
It has been an absolute pleasure chatting with you, and thank you again for everything you did for this launch and making it, go so smoothly and
You are
get people getting
welcome.
so excited.
I'm just glad she's part of it because I said to her, I said, Kate, you're not in Star Trek Online, and you're the only Voyager cast member that isn't. And she was like, the only one? And I was like, yeah. She's like, well, make it happen. I was like, okay, I'll make it happen. Just you wait. And I did. So
Yeah, there you go. Not that we weren't reaching out to her before that, but you made it happen.
it helps when you have someone who knows that this is a great
Yeah.
property that or a great licensee who's building more Star Trek. You're enhancing the existing lore. You're making your own stories. It's high quality work. There's a big fan base, and I think she just wasn't aware because she's not a gamer. She's not very in her device. She's not like online in the sense that we are online because she likes to have her glass of wine and read a book in the evening or watch something that she's interested in. Like she loves Peaky Blinders. She likes to watch very drama heavy period pieces. So that's what she likes to do. She's not someone who's going to think like, what should I do today? Maybe I'll play a game. Like that's not how she operates.
So her holodeck thing in the show was very accurate, is what you're saying.
Yes, it is. I think it's very accurate. I think she might even pick she would definitely want to pick Ireland and go to down the pub and have a drink.
Yeah.
And relax and have some good crack, as they say. The CRAIC crack is how you say fun. And I think Brendan from Ship Talking.
Oh, nice.
He's Irish, and she said something on stage about, he was sitting next to me, and she said something about how Ireland is such a great time for her, and she's got some good friends there, and so she wants to hang out in Ireland and work on her writing, and when she's off, when she's not memorizing, I don't know how she memorizes just reads it over and over and over until she knows.
That's amazing. Yeah.
She was I saw her in Anthony and Cleopatra, which is at the Hartford stage here in Connecticut. And Anthony and Cleopatra, I have my master's in literature, so I'm very well versed in the Shakespeare of it all. And Anthony and Cleopatra is the longest Shakespeare play by scene. And I think she was saying to me something like she couldn't remember her password, she couldn't remember this or that. And I said, Kate, you can memorize Anthony and Cleopatra, you can remember your password. And she was like,
You see, you gotta yeet the unimportant stuff like your password and your social security number out so that you can remember Shakespeare. That's how that works.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean that's what left. The Shakespeare replaced it.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's always got something going on, and I'm really hoping there'll be a return to the stage at some point. Who knows when? Year or two down the line, the right play will come along, and she'll say yes.
That'll be cool.
But,
so get me tickets when that happens. I'm counting on you.
Oh, I will. She did she did one of the last plays that completed its run before COVID. She was in the Half-Life of Marie Curie, and it was really good. It was downtown at the Minetta Lane Theater in New York, in a wonderful neighborhood. I mean, the oldest cafe in New York is right around the corner. It's an awesome spot. I mean, it's just wonderful to go over there. And I know Marina's in the chat, and I know she went to go see it a couple of times.
Yeah.
And it was just a lot. I mean, they have it on Audible. You can listen to it. If you go to Audible and look up the Half-Life of Marie Curie, you can. It's only a 2-woman show. It's Kate and Frankie Ferrandani, who played Marie Curie.
Nice. That's really cool. I'll have to check that out. Awesome. Well, Amy, you're awesome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, folks, Mike. This was really cool.
I'm glad it was fun. Folks in chat, you're awesome. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. I'm glad we got to have this awesome conversation. I am going to...
Oh, and follow me on the social.
Yes.
Amy Imhoff 1701. I am on Twitter and Insta with that particular handle. My Facebook is private, so leave me alone.
Yeah, leave her Facebook alone. All right. So. I'm going to send us on a raid on Twitch, so get ready to fire that off, folks. It's been great chatting with everybody. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Is that everybody? Okay. Bye-bye. Bye-bye now.